I'm Milo Lines. I'm lead golf instructor here at Superstition Mountain with Malaska Golf. First thing I look for is how you attach yourself to the club. So I look at your grip. So for me, the way that you find the proper grip for you is if we take all the tension out of your arms and just let them hang, we want to put your left hand on fairly close to how it hangs. So if you're like me and you're very inwardly rotated, you're probably going to have a fairly strong looking left hand. Okay, so it's going to be turned where it matches how it naturally hangs, because one of my most important concepts in the golf swing is low tension. I don't want you to have to make the club square up. I want it to square itself. Now, if your hand's on the club too weak, you're going to have to try to square it, which is going to make for inconsistency. If your hand's on there how it fits you, the club's going to return to the ball fairly square if there's no tension in your left arm. And then your right hand, it sets on the club so that your palm is facing the target, or basically mirroring the club face. So the lifeline of your right hand will rest on the side of your left, and the club will be setting in your hand on a slight angle like this, in your fingers. And so that's more or less how your right hand's going to look on the golf club. So now let's talk posture and setup in the golf swing. There are some fundamentals that I look for in a golf swing. So first thing, I like to see your normal standing posture. I like to see it transported into your setup. So you're not too perfect. You don't look like there's tension. Your back doesn't have any arch in it. I actually would prefer to see a slightly rounded back over a back that's this way, arched. So when I set up, I'm really relaxed. There's no tension in me. I feel like my back is actually probably slightly rounded. And if you look at the old-time players, you'll see a lot of that. In the modern players, you see more perfect rigid posture. Now, what I've found is that perfect posture oftentimes will cause you to have some swing flaws. So if I set up and I have this perfect posture, now once I put that in motion, my body can't maintain that because I don't have the flexibility and the ability to move in that posture. So what will start to happen is I'll start to come up out of it. And so one of the big causes of standing up is too good a posture at a dress. So you want to make sure your posture is relaxed. Next thing I'm looking for is good balance. So if you set up and there's too much weight out on your toes, I can see your toes grab the ground. If you get too much weight in your heels, I can see your toes trying to balance you so they lift. So you want to feel like your feet are really quiet. In order to do that, one of the things I'll do is I'll just take and I'll draw a line up through the top of your foot here, and I want to see equal amounts of body on both sides of it. If we see that, then we've got good balance points. Another fundamental in the golf swing is ball position. A lot of teachers teach that ball position varies greatly by the club. I personally don't like to see it change that much. What I like to see happen is I like to see stance width change a little bit based on how long the golf club is. But relative to my left foot, the ball doesn't move very much. So if I was setting up to this 7-iron, I start off like this with I put my right foot in where the ball's just in front of it. Then I'll set my left foot in, and it's just barely, so the ball's a good 6 inches behind my left foot. And then if I'm hitting a 7-iron, my stance will be about this wide. So the ball's slightly forward of the center. Now if this 7-iron was a 4-iron, my stance would be about that wide. So now the ball's a little more forward of center. If this 7-iron was a driver, now my stance would be about that wide. So now that puts the ball a little bit more forward yet. So by adjusting with my right foot, what it actually does is it moves my upper body farther and farther back. So then I can create the angle of approach that I want just by widening or narrowing my stance. These things, the grip, the posture, set up, ball position, are all very fundamental things. Most amateurs have them, they're very variable for them. And even for pros, the first thing that their coaches look at when they have a lesson with their students is these fundamentals. They look at their grip, their setup, their ball position, because that's usually where things go awry. So here I'm going to go through my checklist. I have a specific way I like to put my hands on the club. I point the grip just outside my left hip, and then I put my left hand on. And then I put my right hand on how it goes. And I always set my right foot in first. And I aim the club at an intermediate target here in front of me. And then once I've got the club aimed there, then I square my body to my club. And that's how I know I'm aligned where I want to be. And then from there, I get my, what feels like nice, relaxed, good posture. And then I can go ahead and pull the trigger. Okay,